Maggie Brooks, how has being a grandmother influenced your writing?
Well, that's such an interesting question because I think what it has done is focused my attention. So I'm very fortunate. I'm very lucky to have two daughters, and each of them has a daughter, and they live close enough for me to be involved with my grandchildren. And what I think it's done for me is make me more aware of the things that I was already aware of before. And they're things that you don't have to be a grandmother, you don't have to be a parent, you don't have to be a woman to be aware of. But for me, all of the things that I've written about in the past, about the strength and courage of women, about the importance of kindness and humanity, and about the dangers if we don't stand up to the bad guys, I suppose. They're all there in my mind even more. I'm a poet as well as a novelist, and the business of poetry has always been mortality and love. So, love and death is there in my novels, in The Prisoner's Wife, in Acts of Love and War. And I now have a new and selected collection of poetry called Wish. It has 21 poems about being a grandmother in this vulnerable and dangerous world. All of the things that I know I can't prevent, but I want to draw attention to. And I suppose, in a way, that's what I've done in the novels as well, is try to draw attention to real, verifiable, historical events of the past and the important part that women had to play, and how their strength and their courage and the way that they work together has made a real difference in the world, and that we can all make a real difference in the world. So I think being a grandmother has just made all of that clearer to me, really.
Hmm. So you say about your collection Wish, your newest poetry collection, just recently out. When did you first start taking all these kind of thoughts and the focus, as you said, and kind of put them into poetry?
Well, I sort of didn't realize that I was doing it because I was writing Acts of Love and War. I was promoting The Prisoner's Wife. I was very busy as a novelist and thought that perhaps I wouldn't write another poetry collection. And then one day I was looking through the drawer and I realized I'd got about 30 poems addressed to my young grandchildren, although intended to be read by them when they're old enough to understand the content of them. So they're not kind of poems for children. And I realized that somewhere in the background, this had all been going on all the time that I'd been thinking about the characters in my novels and the world that we all live in, about the climate crisis, which will affect them. It won't affect me particularly, but it will, have a terrible effect perhaps on their lives. I don't know. So all of these things were obviously going through my head while I was writing the novels.
Okay. So this poetry collection then, it sounds like it's many love letters to your grandchildren.
It is many love letters. Yes, I mean, there is no shame in sentimentality, I think, in this world. There is no shame in being clear about the things that we love and the things that we abhor. And I think it tries to make that plain so that even if they don't really remember me when they grow up, they will have some record of having been loved in that way. And as I say, the importance of the sort of key things that I think are important in life, words, apart from anything else, and kindness and humanity.